Guys, just a quick rundown of what's going on this morning. Markets are selling off hard. It's a global liquidation. It's kind of amazing. January 2nd, we had every algo on the planet buying, and now we have every algo on the planet pretty much selling at this point. And basically, we're heading right down to the 3202, or yeah, 3202 area. That's my target for sometime this week. Pretty good chance, considering the action, we will do it this morning, the 3202. But we are catching a little bit right now, so we'll see what happens. It's not a big deal, but that is a weekly support area, or a weekly webs support area. So that's really, for any type of sell off at all, that's just a reasonable support area, in my opinion. And you wouldn't really want to stick with your daily. We This last time we came down here, that was a daily support for the ES futures, but it really looks like there's a lot more momentum behind this sell off. The big boys are selling off this morning, so whenever you start seeing a lot of the big boy names selling off, you got to start getting a little concerned. The big issue I've got here in the markets, and that's the tech. And the main reason I'm suggesting it this morning, the main things that are driving lower, Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia, they're the ones that are getting the volume this morning. Well, like I mentioned earlier, the weekly, or well, shoot, 1 second here. Look at our monthly webs right here. The monthly webs, the prior support's way down here at the 83.18 area. Well, we've been building out support up here at the 87.91. There is a massive void here on the monthly webs for value. You don't typically see that in markets at market highs. So just keep that in mind, that the developing value for the month, which is still young, that all looks like it's about ready to migrate back down. So just keep that in mind. We had some pretty solid value down at this level, and it just really looks like a blow off top scenario, in my opinion, on the monthly webs here. Now, if I go back down to my weekly, okay, we're coming right into weekly value at here in the pre-markets on the Qs. So, and it's hit it 3 times. Okay, and we do have, could be potentially putting in a higher low right here, right now on the Qs. So just keep that in mind. Yeah, you see what I'm talking about here? Value just a week ago. But this was built out 2 weeks ago. It was right down here, and that's where we're at. Okay, on the Qs, and so we just basically got the holiday volume and value up here for the markets to reach for today. So I really think the buyers are shut down for the day. So just keep that in mind. I'm not saying we're going to have a massive sell-off, because we do have weekly value here, but the S&Ps really look like they want to go lower sometime this week. And see here, I don't think, based on my charting here, there is a lot of void down through here. You see how those your venom lines, they don't have any support through here. That is another red flag. Whenever you're entering a situation like that where you don't have any venom line supports, that it can move very quick. So I do want to give you that on the bearish side, that the tech could be in a little bit of trouble the next couple days. Real quick, I just wanted to share with you guys my morning watch list. I customized it instead of using the pre-market watch list from TOSP. It misses a bunch of stuff for volume and stuff hitting the markets. So I do one on the NASDAQ, and I do the one on the S&P 500, and it picks up some stuff that's not actually showing up on that other list. And there's a lot of stuff going on, and you can also do the futures, of course. And but yeah, you can see there's a lot of volume hitting the markets already this morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, and there's some things happening here on these markets. So just keep that in mind. And the main thing I want to point out here, tech, boom, boom, boom. Bank of America's here up here too. So, and I had mentioned that in my weekend video. And Boeing, there was news out on Boeing, negative, of course. I was hoping to get it before it fell out of bed, but yeah, that's the way it goes. So basically, every trade that I had planned to the short side today is pretty much getting obliterated already in the morning. So I had planned on taking Google puts today too. And but look at Amazon. Amazon's already below the well, a bunch of these are already below the 2020 open. Okay, so what, January 2nd, a lot of the a bunch of tech today is already crossing below the 2020 open for the year. So they have red P&L, and just as I mentioned in the video, so we're seeing it's developing. Tesla is actually holding out pretty good here. I mean, I'm amazed. But 1 second here, I want to show you about Tesla and the Venom lines. Yeah, Tesla on my daily Venom lines. You see how my Venom lines are expanding here on Tesla at this price point. If the markets do start to slide, this is one we might be able to catch intraday for a continuation to the downside with the markets. So that was just one of the ones that showed up that I wanted to point out potential if the markets were to continue to sell off this morning, which looks like, I would say, 70% odds we're going to get continuation to the downside. What I'm actually thinking with the PMI numbers coming out at 9:45, that it's going to have they're going to be talking about a major hit from Boeing on the PMI in December, them cutting back their production levels and stuff, and it's really going to hit the PMI hard, and we might actually have a read below 50. I know that's hard. It was like 52.50, I think, is the what they're planning for. But once you cross below 50, that's contraction territory. So just keep that in mind. And we did get that out of Japan overnight, and a further contraction. And boy, they really like 2% down in the Nikkei from hearing further contraction in their PMIs. Finally, the froth in Apple is starting to come out, and all those analyst upgrades and everything are not going to save Apple if the markets decide to roll over. And as you can see, it has broken to 2020, so it's negative P&L for the year. The next target, you do have these lined up. That's what I look for, along with the Venom line. So we're probably going to get another almost $3 or another $2. Oh yeah, almost $3 in to the downside potentially today for Apple if this thing starts to sell off, in my opinion. So just keep that one, because there's two Venom lines right here. This one here was, yeah, this was untested too, so keep that in mind. This one here was tested. So there's two Venom lines back to back, so this here is a magnet for the price action to the downside on Apple. So, another one, let's see here. AMD has the highest volume of the morning. If the markets hold out, because it's got the high volume and we are at a volume point of control, this could definitely rally back up. It's a very loved stock, but I don't like the idea of AMD being above their tech boom high. So if the markets were to sell off, I mean, and it still has not even touched the 2020 breakout yet. So I'd still much prefer AMD to the downside, and especially if you go on your weekly webs here. Yeah, we're at that's the developing week. That's our developing value for the week. We're going to be opening below that down here on the market webs. So just keep that in mind. We're going to be moving away. We're going to be moving to the bottom of value, this volume distribution. So yeah, so just keep that in mind. Whenever you're trading on AMD. Facebook's one of the ones volume leaders this morning. Boom, down here. Here we're coming. We do have overlapping value at these down here at these price points. So be careful pushing that one. We do have a very expanded weekly range this week, so keep that in mind. It was a lot tighter range, supportive range last week, and we have an expanded range this week, so it's not nearly as supportive if it decides to start selling off. So you see, those expanding ranges are the ones you have to really worry about being really messing up your long positions. Okay, and NVIDIA. This one here is come down to our weekly value immediately already. This pre-market action right now, so just keep that one on your watch. We're already to weekly value on NVIDIA. If you go down to the 15-minute charts here, you can see how we've all broken out, and we're coming down to like a double bottom situation here on NVIDIA. So that's another one I wanted to point out. And let's see, was there any others on my little on the NASDAQ? They were the ones. You got JD, it's selling off. I really don't like taking the China names. If I was going to short anything, I want to stick with the U.S. in my opinion. Oh, Google, and I hope some other guys in the room managed to get to Google, because that was a great call out in the room there Friday. So, and look at it, it's just completely falling out of bed this morning. I know some traders, they were getting it, the 1370 puts up here, and I know they were lottos last week, and I hope some people got some 1370 puts for this week, because man, those are going to really pay this morning if we open down here at this price ranges. So as we expected, the markets are falling out of bed, and it's still not the or well, I don't want to say that, but it's the markets are, it's not panic yet, but there's a good chance today's the beginning of a much bigger move. Okay, see you later.